Thanks for all the clapping. Oh man, it hurts my ears a little bit, so loud, so much fucking clapping. So guys. Ooh. Alright. As usual, we're walking into this room and we don't know what the fuck we're gonna talk about, but here we are, every fucking time. What's happening? Well, my vacation is getting closer to the end. I only have 4 days left, and those last 4 days, I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with them. 2 weeks off. 2 weeks off, and man, I do not want to go back. I feel like I should just quit and never go to work again. Maybe money can handle itself that way. You know? It'll handle itself. Well, what's been on the journey? What's been on the road? Well, I don't know. I can't really recall, if I'm fucking honest. Reading the Odyssey, as I said, this time I'm kind of going slow with it. I'm not just sitting down and like ingesting it 8 hours a day for a few days, because I don't know. I want to like work my way through it very slowly, and so I'm just doing that. And I can't remember what I've talked about in the last video, so forgive me. We got the Argonautica. We're gonna hit after that and just go through it nice and slow. I already jumped in like, what, 65 pages, but I'm probably gonna restart from the beginning again. I wanted to go back to the Odyssey one more time. I'm not sure why. And through doing that, just really keep thinking about what it is that we do as people, and what it is that stories are, and what their purpose. I don't know. Put it simply, their fucking purpose. I've had a really keen awareness, which is not how you say this, but I really felt like I really wanted to get inside of storytelling, as I've been kind of slowly talking about every episode here. And inside doing that, there are some times, man, that I am absolutely astounded by just, it's going to sound stupid, but just words in general. Just words. Words and music. It's like an invocation. Like they create something, right? If I have a fucking sentence on a piece of paper, you're going to read it in your head, and depending on what the sentence is, you're going to imagine what it says, or what it's trying to say, or what it doesn't say. And in some sense, it's like a spell. It's crazy like that, man. Just like music. You know, when someone's playing a song and there's a lot of emotion in it and you can feel it, you like that. You want more of that. You enjoy some part of it. And it's really fucking strange. It really is. When you start to get down to it. I don't know what that is necessarily. But it's akin to like dreams and weird prophetic shit like that just astound me, absolutely, to the point in which I necessarily can't function sometimes, because I'm so like in awe by it. I'm so like, holy shit, that's fucking crazy, whatever it is, or some shit, you know? Whether it's historical events or stories or a good song, you know, or a good painting, I don't know, a good movie. It captures you, it holds you. And I've always just, I don't know, I'm like amazed by it, but at the same time I'm not. I talked about this some time ago, where it's like, sometimes I have a problem with like being astounded, in a sense that it invokes an outward emotion from me. Like we're listening to a really emotional song, and my mind's always like, as you should, you know, why wouldn't you do your best here? I expect that out of you. But then there's another part of me that's amazed, but it's on a level that doesn't touch my emotions. It's on a level of like, wow, you know, there's something astounding here, but I can't feel anything from that. There's like a disconnect in a sense. I'm isolating sensations and stuff. I don't know what that's about, but there's something very wondrous in exploration of thoughts and feelings expressed through art in whatever form you want to call it, you know, from writing to movies. It's quite bizarre. It really is. What we do, what we want. You know, we're in an age seemingly that is starving for true art, and right now it's like we're surrounded by a lot of synthetic art, you know, that's created in labs, if you will, if you understand what I mean by that. Like, it's, how would you say, very corporate. You know what I mean? Like, they distilled it. They got the cow fucking hooked up to the machines, and they're pulling the milk out so hard it's bleeding. Like, that's kind of like our modern era. They're milking it fucking dry. I mean, think of it like why you keep seeing remakes and remakes and remakes. And if you do see something that's original, it's full of things that are a nod to where it came from, like a modern Star Wars movie, or I don't know, something fucking else of that nature. It's full of things that it's about nostalgia. They make it seem like, but in reality, it's just like, you know, getting you to stay invested. Like, oh, that's like from that show. Oh my God, that's like from this episode of that, you know, and they hook you on. And our world's full of that. To the point now where we're starving for real art, but we don't even know how to handle it when it comes to us. Or we mislabel things as good art, and then in hindsight, you're like, oh, it wasn't that good. It was just kind of newish, but it was the same thing over again. And that's why you just won't hear good new music, or find a good new book, or I don't know, man. Whatever fucking other art form that you would like. It feels like it could be good again, but for some reason it's not. And there's that quiet acceptance of like, oh, maybe it'll come around the corner. You know, maybe I go listen to, hey, my new favorite band, or I don't know, a band from the 90s, Pearl Jam, release a new song. Hey, they were good, you know, and it doesn't feel the same. Because the struggle's not there for them anymore. So it's different, right? Art's about struggle. It's such a vast and complex road that we could go on for hours about all that shit. But I kind of wonder a lot of the times about all that, you know? And about what's going on around us, and what's real and what's distilled. What is music really, you know? I mean, shit, you listen to like music from 1790, and then all of a sudden you go to 1960, and you're like, what happened? Like, what happened there? That's crazy. 1900s to 1950. You know what I mean? You're just like, what the fuck happened? It's crazy. I can understand why there's conspiracy theories about, I don't know what, Beatles and the CIA, or fucking demonic music and Led Zeppelin and fucking other bands and shit. Like, I can understand why the mind would go that way, because there's something weird about it. There is definitely something weird about music. I don't even know what new music's like now. I hear the assholes driving by with that shitty synthetic bass, so I know that new music's more synthetic than it used to be. And it's like, oh geez, like, it's like scary that that's what people ingest, you know? Like, oh Lord, like, I kind of worry for them, you know? Because they don't know. They have no idea. Most people don't even fucking know what they're reading, or what they're watching, or what they're being told, you know? From their politics to their fucking modern mythology, to fucking their science, to their music, to their, I don't know what else, man, religion, you know, all these aspects. Most people don't even really realize what it is. And dude, I'm sure if you're anything like me, it's frustrating to see people fall into the same traps that they've been falling into for centuries. You know? You're just like, geez, dude, are you seriously falling for this shit? What's wrong with you? You know? And it's all based on like something so simple to accept. And that's just a fucking song on the radio. It's just, to you, it's like a background idea. Like, oh, I drive to that. I listen to that when I work out, or, you know, whatever people listen to music in their lives. They have no idea how fucking weird that is. To just have music on tap at your command at all times. God knows what's behind it. God knows what fucking people made it, you know? Like who they really are. You could say you know, but you don't fucking know. You know, it doesn't matter how many documentaries you watch. You don't know that person. It is very strange when you think about it. If I write a bunch of songs and you like them, that's kind of strange, you know? You don't even know who I am. Oh, but I watched every YouTube video of his. Congratulations, you still don't know who I am. This isn't really me all the time. This is just me here with you now. I don't think this way when I'm out in the world or with my family and friends. I don't in any way. I'm enjoying my life, and that's just one aspect of a human being, you know? It's pretty gnarly when you start really boiling down life and just opening it up and realizing what the fuck is going on. Like, kids with video games now. Oh, it's freaky. You know, I went to a GameStop recently with my wife. She wanted to get a new game system. And, as I was standing there, just the weird culture that it was about new games coming out, or I learned something called drops, and the card stuff, the card playing shit that people do, and I don't know, I just thought it was really strange. I'm like, this is a weird, like we're hung up on the wrong shit, it feels like. It feels like we've lost touch so much so that like, instead of knowing our real history or our mythological history, we've come to realize that we just want to live our lives in a synthetic world created by groups of people, initially by maybe a great person, if you will, like let's say Tolkien or George Lucas. But look what it turned into. This weird corporate fucking money grab every time. Oh, there's a new Star Wars game coming out. There's a new Lord of the Rings series. And it's just corporate grabs. Money, 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 money. But these kids are none the wiser. They think it's just a continuation of this world they want to live inside because they don't like theirs. Right? I mean, it's fucking bizarre, is it not? It really is. And I'm creating my own. It's born inside my head. Everything inside the mythology is all me. So in some sense, I'm just taking my my inner world and making it an outer world. So I guess in some way that's how I could justify what I'm doing. You know, it's kind of why I ran away from Star Wars, Lord of the Rings. I was like, I'm sick of it. I'm sick and tired of this not being me. I want to be me. And it was just a weird feeling to continue down that road. I just can't imagine myself still like a diehard Star Wars fan. Got all the action figures and the toys and Legos and see every movie and stuff and live my life like that, decorate my house like that, talk about it 24/7, and I don't know. It's okay to enjoy things, but like to make it your life, man. That's kind of where I just get, it's not necessarily a suspicion. Like I'm not 100% suspicious of every little fucking moving thing in the world, but there's just so much when it comes to art that is kind of suspicious just because of the era we live in. Because how you can quantify things, how you can synthesize things, how, I mean, shit, listen to modern music and there's nothing real happening there. There's fake auto-tuned voices over fake synthetic sounds of fake drums and fake bass and fake, I don't know, whatever they use for like the higher melodies and treble and all that. It's none of that was real besides the person sitting down and making it with a machine. That was the only part that was ever real. But like then AI is getting weird. You know, like I can't open a Word document without AI. It's like, you want me to reword that? I'm like, no, that's the fucking point's for me to say this, you know? I can understand using AI like a fucking C3PO or something, or an R2D2, where it's like you're just using it as a tool to help you, but like to do it for you? That's crazy. And I'm sure it's probably in music programs nowadays. I wouldn't be surprised if someone's like, yeah, there's an AI assistant that can kind of, you hold on a note and it like syncopates and it plays that in arpeggios while you're holding the note down. So you don't have to do that anymore, you know. I'm sure it's crazy like that. And it's astounding to me. Because in some sense, is there already is this real? You know, like you see how kids react to someone playing an instrument and singing at the same time. They think it's like fucking devil worship. It's insane to them. Not only that, but like, what's inside of the sounds, man? Like, what's inside of when these people sit down and create a new Star Wars movie? What's really inside that? You know, like what agenda? What propaganda? Your TV series, like what propaganda is being pushed at you? Whether on purpose or just so on accident, and it's so ingrained in our culture that even the people making it don't realize they're making propaganda. That shit happens so much. It's called being a product of your time. You know, when you watch something, you're like, oh wow, that was fucking communism hating. And I bet the people at the time didn't even necessarily want to do that, but it was because it was influencing them. And that's where it gets so tricky when it comes to taking an art or understanding, because I'm going to lump like video games, music, writing, painting, acting, and all that. I'm going to just kind of say that as art. We're just going to simplify this because it gets too complex when I have to keep jumping around. That's where it gets tricky with art. You know what I mean? It's like, what's really happening here? When an actor is on the stage and they're doing a bit, they're playing a character and they channel something, like what are they really channeling? An aspect of themselves? Something around them? Cultivating and curating an idea into being, whatever it may be, like a bad guy, let's say? Like what's really happening there? With the music, like what's really being portrayed inside that music? I mean, again, it's not like I believe that it's all demonic, because I don't know if I necessarily believe in demons. But, and I'm also not trying to say that everything is propaganda. I'm saying that 99% of the things are, but not all of it is on purpose. Sometimes it's on accident. I'm sure if you were to break apart like the Harrius Codex, you could spin so many things, like you were trying to say this here, and I bet this is how you feel about that there, and I don't know. There's not one woman in this episode, so you must feel this way about that, you know. What, right or wrong, it was on accident, you know. And you might uncover some truth, and I'm like, oh, I guess so. I didn't realize that. Because that's what art is. It's just you bleed on the canvas, and then all of a sudden everyone else tells you what it means. And you're sitting there going, I didn't mean that when I wrote it, but there you go. That's what's crazy about words and music. Because for me, words and music are the two elements of all. Whether that's acting, listening, playing music, to writing, to, I mean, in some sense, even painting. Everything boils down to, probably painting would be like another one, but it all boils down to words and music. Just two ideas that create so much inside of art that it's pervasive in everything, you know? How you interpret a piece of art and how you take that and create your own art from the interpretation you've had of that and multiple things that you enjoy or hate has now created a new essence of thought based upon other aspects of how you determine what was before you. You're self-determining your own world in such a way that you're either chastising, blaspheming, or you're fucking spewing hate on one end, but on the other end you're praising, worshiping, and finding beauty in on the other. But that's all subjective with the life that you live in such a degree that you are shaping your own image of a world around you, and with that you create your own piece of art for other people to find understanding in yourself. That's what that being a channel is. That's what being a conduit is. I was having a conversation with my wife, I don't remember, yesterday or the day before, probably yesterday, and I said, when you really start boiling down your life and you wonder who you are, and you start eliminating things that you like I was really into this series of books when I was a kid, I was really into this movie series, and you start pulling all that apart and getting it out of your life and coming to the point of like, who am I now with all of that shit removed? And you start to wonder, like, am I just an interpreter of everything around me? Am I a product of the environment, so to say? Like all the shit around you that you love, hate. Are you your own being in separation to that, or like a juxtaposition? As in, I don't know, you live rebelliously against it or with it? Or are you your own person living amongst that? You know? Are you a person that is everything around you that you've listened, heard, was told, shown, and touched? All those aspects, good or bad, create you, and you are just everything that's ever happened to you? Or is there something deeper inside of you? You know? Are you more than that? Are you more than just a physical sensation that was interpreting the world around you? You know, the way you think right now, was that because you grew up Christian? Is that because you grew up an atheist? You know, or like you were into fantasies, movies, and card games and shit? And is that who you are because of those things? Is your intelligence based upon how much you can memorize of other people's shit? Seems to be the case. Seems to be intelligence is made about the idea of how many things of other people's can you memorize and adapt to and believe and live by. Well, that determines intelligence, doesn't it? You see what I'm saying? There's so many crazy fucking roads to go down, and it all branches on words and music. How do you feel when you read these words or hear these words? How do you feel when you listen and feel the music? That creates your entire reality. That's what I keep wanting to say to people, like, what you do is so fucking serious and no one takes it that way. The music that you listen to determines who you are based upon how you feel from it, whether you turn it after 3 seconds of hearing it or cry while you're listening to it and everything in between. You're determining your own life based upon some fucking thing that someone else did. Is that not wild? A lot of people take it for granted. Like, you're a social being. No, it's not wild. And I think those people miss the point entirely. They zoomed in way too much. You have to zoom out. You have to disassociate to really see how crazy things are. And this is the reason I mention all that, so I can get back to the point of this conversation. Is it's crazy how fucking words are, and how crazy music is, and how insane it is to understand your world around you based upon that. And who you are as a person is determined by all those factors. I show you the last Beatles song now and then, and I ask you, how do you feel about that? That's determining your placement in this world. Your faction, your culture, your belief system, your, God knows, anything. You're making that actively every day. It's like walking into so many different rooms, you know? And the weird thing about it is, the determining factor of all that, seemingly, of course, this is just a fucking guess, seems to be morality. What you determine is right and wrong. And adjacent to morality, what you determine is good and bad in a sense of taste. Like, you know, this is good music or that music sucks, right? It's a determining factor, as in you're like a little fucking machine that is getting input data, and as you're doing it, you're just determining the outcome of how you feel about said thing that's being inputted. that song that was in the background, that person's car that they're driving, the way your handwriting looks to you, to how clean or messy your house is, or if you give a fuck about that, how many dishes you have, how you feel about your job, how you feel about your spouse. These are all informational things that you're just sitting there like typing away, punch card, like, I feel this way, I feel that way, I feel this way. But what is the function of that? What's the brain behind it? Well, not only is that experience, like the traumas you've had, the triumphs that you've had, and everything in between that, but also your sense of morality, what it is to be a man, what it is to be a woman, what it is to be straight, what is it to be gay, that kind of loose morality idea. So physical experience, mental experience, morality, and then there's like this spiritual element you can add to it as well. Like, well, what does my God say about that? What does my religion say? What does my community say? That's that kind of hive mind shit. And all that combines together, and that's why you'll meet somebody. Like, I've met people that were on the path of enlightenment, got scared, and went right into Christianity. Because it's like, that's easy. I'm going here. This is it. There's nothing else, right? And I don't blame them for doing that, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, that was weak. You were on your way, and you fell. And a lot of people want to fall right back in the arms of Mother again. But inside that, they will turn on those old thoughts. Like, I've always believed gays are immoral. Or I've always believed that, in terms of Christianity, Jesus was God's body incarnate, or whatever the thing is. As if they did, and they didn't. They doubted it. I was always a capitalist. I've always liked this. I'm like, no, you didn't. You fell back into it, and you turned that part of yourself back on again because that's what they told you to do. And that's what I'm talking about. It's like when you're listening to music or reading someone's literature, you don't fucking know what it is. I'm going to give you one last example before I go. Yeah. I went to Barnes & Noble's for the first time, and they were selling a bunch of books, and this one's classical mythology. And I thought, oh, dope. That is so cool. And it says in the back, the myths of Greece and Rome have provided us with timeless tales of the ancient past, when the world was young, and the gods and goddesses shared it with men and women. Yeah, classical mythology provides a complete panoply, never heard that word before, of these colorful myths, including those that have become familiar reference in countless works of world literature. And it gives examples. And I was like, oh, cool, $12 for this? And it's got a bunch of dope art. Every few pages is beautiful fucking artwork. So I thought, oh, that'll be fun, kind of read mythology and look at the nice art. This is dope. And, okay, well, it's kind of weird that they're giving them Greek names, the Roman names, like Diana and Apollo and Minerva and Juno. It's kind of a turn off, but whatever, I could work my way through it. Cool artwork, though. Like, shit to look at while I'm reading this. Look at that, naked lady. Whoa, dope. It says, mythology is the science which treats of the early traditions or myths relating to the religion of the ancients, and including, besides a full account of the origins of their gods, their theory concerning the beginning of all things. I was like, okay. And keep in mind, this is reading other people's things and being determined by it. I want to know about Greek mythology. This is interesting. Ready? This is how this person interpreted it. Are you ready? It says, among all nations scattered over the face of the earth, the Hebrews alone were instructed by God, who gave them not only a full account of the creation of the world and all living things, but also a code of law to regulate their conduct. All the questions they fain would ask were fully answered, and no room remains for conjecture. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I was just like, maybe, I don't know, maybe they're going somewhere interesting with this. And it says, it was not so, however, with other nations. The Greeks and Romans, for instance, lacking the definite knowledge which we obtain from the scriptures, and still anxious to know everything, were forced to construct in part their own theory. And it continues on. And I took the book and I fucking threw it the fuck away. Because, like, that was the most irritating fucking thing I ever read. You get a book about Greek and Roman mythology, and the first thing the fucking person says to you is, by the way, the scriptures already answered all this stuff, so this is kind of stupid, but we're going to kind of play along. Because they're dumb people. They weren't given the word of God. I was just, like, dumbfounded. Like, it boils my blood. It gets my blood up, just thinking about it. It's like I'm going to read a book about mythology. But before I tell you about this mythology, let me tell you about this other mythology that's more real than that mythology. And then we'll get back to it. That's like trying to read a book about Hindu mythology and someone's like, by the way, Egyptian mythology says this, and that's truth. Anyway, we're going to go back to the fucking Hindu one. You're like, what the fuck are you talking about? That has nothing to do with it. And that's what I was trying to say. It's like, it's so irritating because other people's bullshit can be attached into it. I stopped reading that because I thought, what the fuck else are they going to say? Talk about the fucking scriptures? When you're talking about Greek mythology, it has nothing to do with it. But the person that wrote it, obviously is Christian, so for them, like, that's truth. Like, there's no, God already said so. It says right there. He answered all questions. What God? Who? What questions? Answered? I didn't hear any answers in that when I read the fucking first few pages of the Bible. I didn't hear no answers. And that's when it dawned on me. I was like, oh, other people's viewpoints. They're going to taint everything you do. And no matter where you go, it's going to be colored by the music you hear, by the words you read. It's going to be everywhere. Someone else's opinion on something. And nowadays we live in this era where Christianity, Muslim, and Judaism seemingly are the biggest Western, if you want to consider that, Western religions. So, like, it's tainted the whole world in such a way that you can't even escape it. I wanted to just read a fucking book about Greek mythology. And it just had pictures. And I thought, cool. But I couldn't even escape Christianity then. Do you know what I'm saying? That's where I'm saying it's so weird what you hear. Whether it's words or music. It's like, what's really in that, though? What's really inside of that? And that's what I was trying to tell you. It's not like conceited evil effort. Like, I think that was a woman that wrote that. She wasn't being evil. She wasn't planning. Like, that's just her worldview, man. Like, she thinks it's so real that she's like, and this I need to say in the book. I'm like sitting down at my typewriter and I'm writing about Greek mythology. I gotta fucking say this about Christianity real quick. I have to. It's part of me. That's what I mean. Like, people do that shit on accident. They taint the things that they create. God knows what they put in there on purpose. And that's where it gets difficult, man. Like, that's an example of why I'm like leery about everything. I'm like, well, what am I hearing in the music? What am I really hearing? What really is music at this point in this world? What the fuck is any kind of form of literature now, or a video game? You pick up the new Star Wars game. I think it's Star Wars Outlaw. You pick that up and you find out, like, what the hell? Is the Empire 95% female? That's crazy. What happened? What is it? Just like a real world where the guys stop working? Like, we don't work anymore. For some reason we just stop working. It's insane. It's not. There's not an issue with it. But what are you doing? What are you accidentally trying to say? You know what I'm saying? When you keep forcing cultural references on things, or race agendas, religious agendas, like, you might not be doing that on purpose, but what are you really saying? How much of a bigot are you really being when you think one person should have one representation? There is only one God under the sun, or above it, depends on how you look at it. That's where it's just so fucking tricky, man. It's so fucking tricky. And like, a lot of people can kind of lie to themselves, I've noticed. They can just kind of feng shui this in their mind. But they don't know what they invite. They don't know what's really going inside of them. They're none the wiser to it. So I can't blame someone for that. But if you purposely know even the accidents that happen, it makes you kind of leery about going into anything. you have to kind of find a way to enter. This is going to sound nuts, but probably most of this conversation is. When it comes to culture and art and all that, sometimes you have to put like a spacesuit on so you don't get contaminated by the shit that they have inside of it. If I want to enjoy a modern video game, sometimes I have to guard myself against the shit inside of it to explore what it's trying to say. And that's in everything, from reading into mythology all the way to checking out the newest book written by Brandon Sanderson or some shit. It's just, it's how it is, man. And us being the beings that we are, we infect each other so easily. I mean, look how easy it is to get fucking sick. And we're trying not to do that. How easy is it to get infected with someone else's belief systems, or theories, or ideas, or intelligence? It's almost impossible to deny that. 100% of the words I've said to you now were said by somebody else in another order in another time. Who am I then? I don't fucking know half the time. It can be very jarring, the world experience that you have. And the fact that most people, and I'm sure a lot of people watching this, will think this guy's lost the plot a bit, or this sucks that he feels this way about life. I'm glad I don't. I I don't even know how to say it, but like, God, just, I'm glad you feel that way. If that's it, man. Ignorance is truly bliss. It's crazy, man. It is a crazy fucking experience. And man, I'll get trepidatious about a lot of the things that happen. I mean, anytime I'm writing my mythology, I'm fucking pulling that bitch apart and going, what is going on here? And how was that influenced by things I don't like? And you'd be surprised, man, the shit you do. What you think is inside of it. Or what you thought you hid so fucking well will come right out when you're writing. You know what I'm talking about. You'll read an author that has a very dark scene and you're like, you made that, didn't you? I wonder why. I wonder why you made that fucking rape scene or fucking murder scene or some darker element. I don't know. It's kind of interesting what's the author's like, yeah, it's just, that's the story. No, there's more to it than that, dude. Don't act like you don't know. It's gnarly, dude. It really is. But I think we're going to call it from here. My blood's up a little bit with that son of a bitchin' book. What do I always say? We're going to get to that Arius Codex next episode right quick, but we'll see. I mean, it's just got to get done. I just got to work up the energy to do it. So, at any rate, what does this do? I don't remember. We shall see you in the next one.